Hi, welcome back to Love Your Life. Today we're going to talk about roadblocks in achieving your goals. My name's Chris Tackett, and if you have any questions that come up for you while I'm doing this, please email me. I love to respond to any questions that you might have or comments. I love constructive feedback as well. So like I said, we're going to talk about roadblocks. The way that I got started as a life coach was not linear at all. I've been a nurse for 15 years. I was a mental health nurse and a pediatric nurse. And then I started doing some teaching. And in the course of teaching, I got asked if I would teach a professional development course. Sure, I'm a professional. I can teach professional development. Well, this course was designed, or I was to design it for students who had failed previous nursing courses to sort of get them back on track with nursing school. So I put in test-taking skills, time management skills, professional dress, all of these things. And as I'm going through teaching these students, I start to realize that these weren't really the problems they were having. Sure, they could use a little tweaking in those areas, but really they weren't having problems with professionalism as we might like to think. What was happening was that they were encountering roadblocks, and they were letting those blocks build up and block them from moving forward to their success and their dream of becoming a nurse. So I started looking into how to get people unstuck. And my class became very, very successful. Every single nurse that went through my program, through my class, passed their nursing courses, passed their boards, and they're all now nurses. I still have a few who haven't graduated yet, but every single one of them passed. And it was because we talked about these things, and I recognized, and then they recognized the importance of sort of overcoming these roadblocks. We all have them. So I want to suggest to you that when we're traveling through and the road of life and trying to become successful, to beware of our roadblocks, because you don't want to crash and burn either, right? So we have to become aware of the things that keep us from our successes. So I'm going to list off the most common roadblocks, and I bet you can identify some of these in your own. I'm just going to go down the list and then we'll talk a little bit about each one. The first one, fear. No vision. Lethargy. Lack of perseverance. Not taking responsibility, picking the wrong people to hang out with, pessimism. So fear, no vision, lethargy, lack of perseverance, not taking responsibility, hanging out with the wrong people, and pessimism. I bet you can identify those things in your own life and as roadblocks to your own success. Fear. We live most of our lives sort of in that place in between what scares us the most and what we want the most, right? Fear is one of the worst enemies to success. It keeps you hostage. And in order to become successful, you have to face your fears. You have to recognize your fears. You have to face them, see them for what they are, and toss them aside. Conquering fear and stepping forward to reach new lands and new ideas is what makes success possible. So think about, what are you afraid of, and what fear do you have to conquer in order to take action. Then take an action that is exactly in the face of what your fear is. No vision is the next one. This means that you don't have a defined goal or a centralized purpose or vision. You know, my students, for example, they all wanted to be nurses. Some of them had very specific nursing professions they wanted to go into: pediatrics, mental health, newborn nursing, geriatrics, they had very specific goals. Some of them, I just want to get through the next term, and so we had to work with those things. But 98% of people who are followers have no definite idea of their own ultimate goals. So you have to know your passion and what your higher purpose is. It doesn't always have to be what your career or your job is either. Sometimes our passions and purposes lie outside what we do every day to make money. Making the money is how we sustain ourselves, and then we go out and fulfill our passion and use our dreams and use our lives to create change in the world. And that's okay too. So you don't have to necessarily correlate your job or your career with what your passion is. You don't have to be making money at your passion. The next one is lethargy. Having no enthusiasm is a sure sign that you don't enjoy your current life. And whatever you're doing, as long as you're moving in the direction of your higher purpose, you'll start to feel enthusiasm. So test yourself. If you're not enthusiastic, what is your passion? What do you want to be doing with your life? And don't let fear get in the way, right? What do you really want to be doing? If there was no critic, if there was no money, monetary means tied to what your passion was, if you could take out all that extraneous stuff that holds you back from reaching your goal, what would it be? What would your passion be? Okay? Stop allowing yourself to be comfortable. Stop allowing yourself to take a lifelong nap. Some of us work really, really hard all day long and enjoy none of it. That's sleeping on the job. Okay? So stop letting yourself do that. Don't get lethargic. Get going. Lack of perseverance. Most of us are really good starters and not very good finishers. I fall into this category all the time. I start lots of stuff and then don't finish them because I run out of motivation, time, money, all those things. But if I really want to meet that goal, perseverance. There is no substitute for persistence. So watch out for this one. Once you feel it start creeping in, you'll notice you start procrastinating. You feel stagnant in your daily life. When you start to feel that, stop and keep going. Stop whatever you're doing, whatever those thoughts are that are keeping you in that fear base, and persevere. Keep moving, even if it's small, little pieces of movement. Micro movements is what I like to call them. Even if they're small, keep moving. In real estate, location, but in success, the three most important things are perseverance. Okay? The next one is not taking responsibility. It is so easy to blame everyone else, and then you don't have to take that. So you have to accept that whatever is happening in your life, whatever road you're on, you've chosen that. And you stay on that path because you're choosing that. It's your responsibility to take another path, to stop being lethargic, to gain some persistence and move yourself forward. Picking the wrong people to hang out with. We easily become products of our environment. And I see this all the time. Back to my nursing students, some of them would say, but Mrs. Tackett, I have study groups. I work with these other students who are really, really smart, and I work really hard. And I say, what, do you enjoy your study group? Well, actually, the one girl's really bossy. I don't like how they do it. They want to make note cards. I hate note cards. They don't work for me. but they stay in this study group because they think that that's what they're supposed to be doing. But they're picking the wrong people to study with. The way that these other people are studying don't mesh with the way that they need to be studying. And I tell them, choose another group, form your own, pick some people who are like-minded as you and hang out with them. Pick the people who are positive, pick the people who are going to say, you got this, you can do this, and not the ones who are saying, this test is too hard, she always gives really hard tests, I've heard nobody ever passes this test. You know, don't hang out with those people because they plant those seeds in your brain and then you set yourself up to fail. So you get to choose people that you surround yourself that spur your enthusiasm, people who want you to do well and who make you feel like excelling, who make you want to be a better person. Those are the people you should be hanging out with and surrounding yourself with. Pessimism. The saying is, you can achieve what you believe. So ask yourself what kinds of beliefs you hold. Are you an optimist or a pessimist? I'm an optimist. I think that comes across pretty clearly. Because if I didn't believe that I could achieve, I wouldn't. And same for you. If you don't believe that you can be successful, you're not going to be. Your pessimism will prove you right every single time. Every time. Develop your optimism and look for ways to believe that you can achieve success. So what I want you to take away from today is that if you feel bad in any way, take from this episode that you have complete control over that. It's all about your mind and your thoughts. And I've said this to a lot of people and I've heard some feedback, remember I'm a mental health nurse, so I've worked with some clients who've had some very severe mental health history, and I still find it to be true. I had a patient once who had chronic pain, and she had real chronic pain, real severe, 10 out of 10, every day of her life, chronic pain disease. And we were talking one time about relaxation techniques, positive affirmations, ways, she could, besides using pain medicine, alleviate some of her pain. And she told me something that really made me stop and think. And she said, when I meditate, when I relax, when I'm not focusing on my pain, it goes away. But when I have my friends over, when we're laughing and talking and having a good time and enjoying ourselves and I'm really focused on my friends, I really, literally don't have any pain. But when she's alone, and she spends a lot of her time alone, she had a lot more pain. And I mentioned this to her and we discussed it, and we thought that maybe if she started to choose another path, to start choosing to have something different, something positive to focus her thoughts and her energies towards, she wouldn't spend so much of her life in pain. Her pain was never going to go away, but it could certainly be alleviated when she started to put her energies and her focus into other things. So thinking positive thoughts is loving yourself, and it will create your reality. Affirmations, I've talked a lot about affirmations throughout my episodes. Affirmations are positive or negative. Every time you say, I'm always late, I never have enough money, nobody ever calls, nobody cares about me, I'm always alone, my job sucks, my life sucks, all of those things we say to ourselves, you're creating your reality. You are making that your truth. You're affirming every negative thought. And every negative thought you have pushes all the good away. So have you ever gotten so close to something really, really good, you almost had it, and then it seemed it was taken away before you got it? Think back about the last time that happened to you and assess where was your mental atmosphere at that time. I bet there were negative thoughts blocking you. One of these from the list: fear, pessimism, lack of responsibility, hanging out with the wrong people. I bet one of those was coming into play. So a positive affirmation is a solution to replace any problem that you have. Positive affirmations are always in the present tense, and they sound like this: all is well, I am safe, and everything is working out in my favor. Positive affirmation statements are like rich, fertile soil that you're planting seeds in, and in the future, those seeds are going to grow into big, beautiful flowers. So take care not to plant weeds in that fertile soil. Negative affirmations are just like weeds, and just like weeds, negative affirmations take over everything and smother out all the beautiful flowers, right? So plant the beautiful flowers that you want to grow in your own life. Even if you're not feeling them right now, even if you don't believe that they're true, you're planting seeds that will eventually become your reality and your truth. So say things like, I am, I have, I attract, I create. Those statements, ... whatever they are,